East along the A166 from Garraby Hill and Wetwang, a burly church tower stands prominently above fine views of the central Yorkshire wolds. We are 3 or 4 miles from the market town of Driffield, standing in a rural churchyard set back from the modern village of Garton-on-the-Wolds, staring up at St Michael's Church. From the west, only the elevation of the west tower is visible, for there are no aisles. Everything else, and so much else there is, remains hidden. Beyond the boundary wall, a patchwork of fields is separated by green lanes. Garton-on-the-Wolds is no distance from Garton Slack, a featureless plot today, but a series of settlement and burial sites where for over 2 decades of the 20th century, archaeologists made some outstanding finds dating from the Neolithic to the Roman period. This included a large square barrow cemetery with several horse cart burials, formerly and perhaps erroneously described as chariot burials. Excavation at Garton Slack has presented evidence for occupation over several thousand years. In the churchyard are 2 ancient monuments. One is a medieval cross slab with a fructed stem, the other is in fact a listed monument. It is a semi-effigal medieval grave slab, flat and moss-covered. From a quatrefoil hollow at one end are carved the head and hands of a woman in prayer, an opening at the foot for her feet. This was listed Grade 2 in 1987, 21 years after the church was listed Grade 1. St Michael's Church is a plain, aisleless structure, one of the medieval Wolds churches restored under the instruction of Sir Tatton Sykes of Sledmere, whose family did for generations contribute greatly to changes in landscape and farming in the Wolds. Some of them took it upon themselves to beautify the parish churches of the local villages, employing some of the finest architects of their day. For Garton, the architect was John Loughborough Pearson, and the work was undertaken between 1856 and 1857. Pearson rebuilt the chancel on its original foundations, and much of the existing fabric is a reconstruction, apart from some exterior corbels and the 12th century west tower with a Norman arched doorway on the west facade, which is partly original. There is an easily overlooked medieval carving above this doorway depicting St Michael, the dragon and 2 angels, now quite badly deteriorated. The south doorway is an excellent reconstruction by Pearson, though with a few original elements that validate the degree of elaboration. St Michael's Church is celebrated for its illustrious, illustrated interior. No inch of wall space in the nave or chancel was left unpainted when in 1873-76 the firm Clayton and Bell set about their grand scheme of decoration, including the stained glass windows for which the firm is generally more well known. The iconography is a mix of Old Testament stories and the prophets in the nave, and scenes from the New Testament with apostles, evangelists and saints in the chancel. The south wall of the nave features the 12 labours of the months. The original cartoons or preparatory drawings survived having hung in the village school and are now displayed in the tower base here in the church. The paintings were executed using a mixture of oil and resin-bound pigments on a primed plaster or stone in a spirit fresco technique. Nicholas Pevsner, visiting the church in 1972, expressed concern over the dirty and decaying state of the paintings and felt that they should be preserved. The wall and ceiling paintings were conserved and cleaned in phases between 1986 and 1991 by a team under the direction of conservators Wolfgang Gartner and Donald Smith in a programme financed by the Pevsner Memorial Trust. Writing of his rambles through the wolds between Danes' graves and the inn at Langtoft, Alfred Brown wrote in 1932 that hereabouts the wolds are strewn with the sites of ancient villages and the bones and weapons of ancient Britons. In The Way of the Wolds, he talks about treading historic ground in a county of pastoral peace. Brown does not describe St Michael's Church specifically, but he may have seen the bulk of its west tower by the rise of a hill on his travels. Though he was not tempted to diverge from his path and visit the church for its great wall paintings, any visitor today would find more of interest here than in many of the small villages around.